Uh-oh. What? Whoa. Well, here we are again at the grocery store. Hey, Motorbomb. Let me uh, let me tell you a sad but true story. My insurance went up this year, as everybody else's did too. I wasn't unique. My insurance increased from 185 to 205 on my Medicare, and so my insurance, which I've had United Healthcare for many a year, it went up too. Hey, good morning. Um, Anyhow, it went up. So I had a dental appointment this morning. I go over there, and she said, "Your charge today is $37.50." I go, "Ma'am, I don't have a copay. Mine is 100%. My insurance. I'm paying for full coverage." Um, they've changed your plan this year. Even though you're full coverage, you have to pay 50% of your share or whatever. I go, what? I go, but you increased my insurance. I'm paying more, and now I'm getting less. And now I'm having to pay at the office. Oh, buddy, it just ain't any. There's no way to win. Oh, your insurance went down. Oh, hell no! The quality of the insurance really went down. Um, it just you pay more and receive less. That's my little bitch for the day. Uh, yeah, Ben, 20, 2026, there's a whole lot of changes, I guess, across the country, and and old people. Everybody think a lot of young ones probably think the old people really got a free, easy ride. I know, I know. Motorbomb, she said and I'm gonna see. I got it right here. She gave me a card. If you can see it there, I don't know if it's focused. I can't tell. I don't. I didn't have my glasses, so she gave me a card. Let me see if I can get it over here. It says United Healthcare. She said you call these people, and they can sell you an additional insurance for your full coverage. They will endorse your full coverage. And I go, if I've got full coverage, how come I have to get more insurance? Well, this way you won't have to pay the co-charge. Uh, Anyhow, nothing whining and complaining. God, it's cold here. It's going to be this weekend, folks, and here in Alabama, they're predicting a low of 15 degrees, a high of 33 for the day. High Sunday. Sunday's going to be 33 degrees for a high. Oh, man. This ain't good on the Gators, I'm telling you. In fact, there's my dentist office right up there where you see that sign, Summiton. That's my dentist office up there. Of course, Angelique is in there um, doing her shopping thing. Hey, quick shoe. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sitting here inside the car, and the sun glare through the windshield is on the screen. I'm trying to find a way where I can read the screen. So if I miss anybody, it's not intentional. It's just And it just happened to be the nature of the beast. Oh, me. Yeah, I checked the coffee crew out this morning. It was pretty lively when I was sitting outside waiting for them to open the door because I had a really early appointment. Um, Good turnout. I was telling them up at the dentist office there about the coffee crew and the camaraderie we have, and that's one of the bright spots of the day for me is you get to go on and you can and most times it's politically free, where you can absolutely talk to another human being without swearing an allegiance to a party. You don't have to do the clicking of the heels or the goose step or nothing. You can just come in and be just a regular human being for a moment. We need a 24-hour coffee crew. We got to make this thing run day and night. We got to bring some sanity back to America. One cup of coffee at a time. Woot woot. Here we go. Oh, there. Oh man. There's Old Mack right over there. I'm gonna see if I can find so I can get Old Mack tuned in. Let me see. He's right over here. Hang on. I'm gonna see if y'all can see Old Mack. Oh, this thing won't zoom far enough out. There's another Old Mack right over there. He's got that orange looking shirt, purple looking shirt on. I wish I could zoom further, but I can't. Look, he's got a beard down to his navel, man. That's one of them hill people. He's got a belt on and suspenders. See, look at that big old gray beard. Look at that. That's Old Mac right over there. At least I ain't wearing suspenders yet. uh, it's all good. Yeah, that's right. They got that. Yeah, got that cap on. Yeah. Well, I spotted. That's what Angelique's always doing when she go, look, oh, Mac, there's your twin brother. My little grandson, I talk to him a few nights a week, and I talk to his dad, and his dad always puts him on. He's 4 years old, 5 years old this year, and he calls me Old Mac. He asked me, he said, "Do you have a good Christmas, Old Mac?" I love it. Yeah, we do a 24/7 coffee. The coffee crew, coming to you from you, all America coffee crew. Uh, you can see the lot's pretty empty. This is, of course, Tuesday, the 20th. People must not be getting their check or something because ain't nobody hardly in the parking lot. Well, there's some right over in front of the grocery store part, but down on this end down here, it's pretty skimpy. And let's just ease right over here. I think my signal's still good. Let me look right over here. Yeah, the gas station. Gas prices holding steady at 228 for regular. Diesel 306. No, we didn't take the bike today. Even though I've got my thermal underwear on, my thermal wear. Um, we just decided to stay warm because over in that little dentist office, sometimes it can be pretty cool in there. So I was bundled up looked like a teddy bear. Look at right here. Man, I'll tell you, that's scary, ain't it? I look like Aunt Blabby. Aunt Blabby from, you remember Johnny Carson? I tell you, I look like Maud. You know, when her hormones was a little bit out of, yeah, I begin to get that Maud look. Oh no, I tell you the one I look like. That little old lady on the Golden Girls. I'm the grandma on Golden Girls. Uh, well, it looked like they're crop dusting us. You know, the government flies by once a week and lays down this to get rid of chiggers and katydids and they're spraying us for well, it helps us to balance our sanity too. That stuff it's got just a little Prozac in it and just a hint of Jack Daniels. That's what they're spraying out in Alabama. Now they spray a little bit different kind of spray when you get up to Wisconsin and Michigan and all up through there. They spray a de-icer up there. You know, the government's always looking out for you. You can see right back over here. They see, look there. See, X marks the spot. That's where they start dumping their heavy stuff up in that area there. A lot of mental stuff, you know, a lot of mental illness. They drop some kind of psychotic drug, you know, make everything like a psychedelic world. Let me see. Somebody said good morning to me, but I cannot read. Uh, hmm. Oh, the sun is right on it. Anyhow, if I miss anybody, well, we're not intended to do so. Well, we got what, 3 people in here? Yeah. No, we got 18 people in here. Well, I better start acting right then. We got a bunch of people in there like that. They're going to be expecting Old Mack to do something polite, courteous. I did have a little bit of a blow up over there at the dentist's office when they told me I got to start paying a copay. It all seems to work out. Yeah, I got the window down. That wind feels good on my face. It's already 31 degrees, so she's warming up nice. You know, I was telling Angelique, I, I, I complain about the cold here in Alabama, but I don't ever remember once in the state of Washington when I was riding to work on I had a Yamaha. I had an RM 350, I believe it was, when I was, yeah, it was a RM 350, twin cylinder, oil injected. It was the best Yamaha I had at that time. It was a sweet machine. Did you know I rode that thing to work, rain or shine, snow, it didn't make no difference. One time somebody stole the motorcycle off my front porch. Every day I would bring it up and park it on the front porch. And somebody stole that Yamaha from the front porch. Yep. Looks like they're giving us a double dose today. You can see there's three trails up there now. And there's a whole bunch of them over there. They must have been having to double spray that area over there. Crop dusting us. Yeah, we get crop dusted 3 times a week. We all like it too. Kind of tastes like Kool-Aid. You can just take and run your finger through the air and lick your finger, and it's just like grape Kool-Aid. It ain't bad at all. Oh man. Well, this is winter. You know, think about it. Last August, I took a ride up into North Alabama, and it was 98 degrees. It was so hot. My poor little Harley, it was just, you could tell it had its little tongue hanging out, hauling me and Angelique. And that fan, it's got air cool heads on it. It's got the fan, it blows over that. Well, we'd go and park and be there for 30 minutes and that fan would still be running. That's how damn hot it would be. And we'd be whining about how hot it was. And look at us now. We're sitting over here whining about how cold it is. It's just hard to find a level of satisfaction. Well, I hope everybody finds a level of comfort today. It's not going to be bad up in the daytime. It's going to be, I think it's going to reach up to 40 degrees or so today. Um, I just hope you don't have to get out in it. I think about all the people that have to get out in it every day. You know, up in Ohio and some of those places where, in Wisconsin. Oh, how about American Outlaw sitting over there in North Dakota, Bismarck? I watched the deal before coming over here on TV this morning about Lewistown, Montana. It wasn't a story about the town of Lewistown. That's where I was stationed. That's where we put all them missiles in the ground. But it was about the Milwaukee Railroad. And the train station was in Lewistown, Montana. And then they spoke about Harlowtown. And I had 9 Minutemen silos within 2 or 3 miles of Harlowtown, Montana. And my gosh, going to Harlowtown in the 70s was like going back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. Nothing had changed. It was a cow town. It's still a cow town. And boy, I'm telling you, it has just almost gone away. When I was there, the town was a thriving because when I was down there putting those missiles in Harlowtown, we always had a crew of 1,500 workers, and there was a crew of 600 government workers, and I was part of the 600. And we had, most everybody would, all the workers, they had to find a place to stay in Harlowtown. Now, we was provided, the government gave us a house in Lewistown. They provided us with a home in Lewistown. But that's 115 miles away, and we had to drive every day, 115 miles down and 115 miles back. We got paid for driving, and when it got really bad, when the weather got bad, the Air Force assigned us an official driver so that he was supposed to be an expert in hazardous navigating. And they would come out and get us in a Ford station wagon. And they would haul us from Lewistown to Harlowtown. And we'd have to leave out at 3:30 in the morning because you got to open the silo. You have to open the silo up at 6 or 7. I don't remember maybe 6 o'clock, because you have a crew that has to go down and prep the silo for the workers. You know, they have to go down a 413 sniffer and make sure there's no methane gas or any explosive stuff down in the bottom 180 feet in the ground. And so you have to let that crew in. So, and then we had to stay, our shift, we stopped at the end of the day at 5 o'clock in Harlowtown and then drive the 115 miles back up to Lewistown. One time the Pentagon sent out, they have these people that spy on government contracts. They call them Quasar. It's a Quasar group is an official group out of the Pentagon to make sure that contracts are being, carried out and make sure there's no waste, fraud, and abuse and stuff like that. Well, we got word that we had a SATAF officer amongst us. Now they are totally in disguise. They pretend to be a painter or a welder. Or they pretend to be electronic technician or whatever they want to be pretending to be. And they send these people out. They call them SATAF, Site Tactical Acceptance Force, and they would come out and they would do a sort of like a spy audit on your silo. And so me and my co-driver, he was a big old Swedish boy, and his name was Roger Granlund. We called him the Fabulous Finlander. He'd been out in the field for 17 years when I met him, but he had his driver's license taken away from him, so I had to drive for him. And every day we'd stop at the liquor store in Harlowtown and get us a 12 pack to ride back up to Lewistown, 115 mile. And so the word come down that SATAF was going to be on our site. And so anybody new showed up, you would automatically suspect they would be SATAF. And they brought a guy out named Jerry Ford. Jerry Ford, like the car Ford. And he was coming out, and he was I can't remember what job he was performing, some kind of a job that was supposedly he was auditing for the Air Force, but he wasn't SATAF, supposedly. But we found out that he was SATAF. And so the first day that he was riding back up to Lewistown, we had to make the decision: was we going to stop at the liquor store like we always did, knowing we have a government agent in the car? So we pulled up in front of the liquor store, and so he went in and got the beer. And when he walked out the store, he opened 3 bottles of beer. Roger did, one for me, one for him, and one for Jerry Ford sitting in the back seat. So he handed Jerry Ford a beer. He's, oh no, man, I don't drink beer. I don't drink whatever. He said, you're going to drink this one today. And anyhow, he said, turn your little recorder device. He had a recorder in his shirt pocket, and it had a little bit of a bulge there. And he said, if you don't turn it off, I'm going to pull you out of the car and I'm going to turn it off. And so he said, I just record stuff for my own purpose, dates and time and stuff like that. So anyhow, he took it out of his pocket and laid it up on the center console where we were in that car we was in. It was a SATAF car. It was a GAS car. GSA car, Government Service Administration car. And so he started chugging down on his beer, and we had to stop at Judith Gap. Judith Gap is at Bar 100. From between Harlowtown and Lewistown, there was Judith Gap. And we had to get us another 12 pack. So everything ended up really good. When we got back up to Lewistown, he gave him his little recording device back with him. And of course, he erased everything on the tape and handed it back to him. He said, good luck on your next operation. He said, we're keeping an eye on you guys because y'all come in here to make a living. Y'all pretend things is worse than what it is, so the Pentagon will keep sending you out here so you can get all this per diem money plus your paycheck. And anyhow, it was just one of them adventures one will get into when they're out in a remote location of Montana. Oh, Jerry's probably dead now. He was older than me and Roger both. And I'm sitting here 85, so I'm sure the old guy, if he ain't dead, he's probably sitting somewhere in an old folks' home and spitting up or something. Yeah, we had a female to show up, and we was there in Harlowtown, 3 miles out of Harlowtown, and the porta potty was outside of the. It was outside of the silo, and it was about a 300-foot walk down to the toilet, and it was 40 below zero. So what we did is we'd step out of our trailer and we'd go out. We had these big barrels of concrete holding the trailer down from the wind there that blows across Montana. Three of them, three cables went across the top of the trailer, and they was terminated into a 55-gallon drum of concrete. So it'd be 6 of them all together. So we used to go out and piss on the barrel. We did it every day, and then the piss would be frozen. We would stand side by side and piss on the barrel and see how far it would go down the side of the barrel before it'd freeze. It was just a game we'd play. Anyhow, this piss finally built up like a huge yellow icicle hanging off the side of a 55-gallon drum. And then one day, they made the announcement on the military radio that Sataf Sadie, she was coming to see us from the Pentagon. And she came in and made her review, checked her station out, making sure we was to protocol and everything. And then she did a walk around. And she came in, and by this time, that iceberg that we created out there of nothing but piss was covered in snow and ice. And she asked me, she came out and she said, I need a incident report log sheet. She needed to write an incident up, so I got her an incident sheet out for her. And she started writing an incident. She believed that one of the drums was leaking chemicals. I said, man, we don't have any stored chemicals on the site. She said, well, yes, you do, because I found there's a leak. And I go, I don't think so, ma'am. We're not allowed to have chemicals out here, none classified. So she said, come with me. So I had to put my muckalux on. If you ever been in the Air Force muckalux, that's like you look like a friggin' Eskimo, So I went out there and did a walk around with her, and she carried me around there. And when I come around the corner, I see the barrel, the one we've been pissing on for 3 frozen months there in Montana. She said, you can see right there, there's a large bulge where it's leaking. See, the whole top of the barrel is covered in snow. And I said, well, just a minute, let me show you something. So I go back in, and I got a little old military shovel. Every vehicle has a shovel with it, so if you get stuck in the snow, you can get some dirt and throw under your wheels or whatever. A little old fold-up military shovel. Everybody that was ever in the military knows what it looks like. So I go out there and get the shovel out of the vehicle, and I shovel the top of the barrel off down to the concrete, and then I took the tip of my shovel and I banged it against that concrete. I said, ma'am, all these barrels are filled full of concrete. She said, how could it be leaking? So I scraped off the ice, and when I was doing so, the big chunk broke and fell to the ground, fell down there. And she insisted. She said, scrape in there. I want to see what kind of sludge is coming out of that barrel. I go, ma'am, you can't have sludge coming out of concrete. And anyhow, big old chunk fell. Well, on the back side of this big chunk was yeller piss frozen. She said, see right there, you can see that's some kind of a toxic residue. And so she took and got something and chipped her off a chunk of it and put it in a sandwich bag. She said, I will have this analyzed. I said, well, please let me know what kind of sludge is coming out of the barrel, because I live here and I don't want to die from some kind of unknown ailment and everything. Then they sent out a bulletin, no longer are we allowed to piss on the barrels. You will walk your ass down to the porta potty regardless how cold it is. You guys have been in the military. You know what it's like. This kind of stuff goes on all the time. Um, no matter what it is, you're going to have fun in your life. We always did. When I was down there in Harlow Town, one of the young men came over to us and said, "You mind if we bag one of these antelopes?" We were in charge of the silos, so me and my buddy Roger was what they call, he had a position, and he gave him the authority to take an antelope, which he's not. He don't have that kind of position, but as far as they're concerned, nobody can come onto a government silo unless you have authorization, not even the law. And so anyhow, he bags us a antelope, and they dressed it out and hung it over there in the workers' trailer. And oh my God, them boys made jerky. They made sausage. They ground it all up, did all this stuff. Oh, you talking about some damn good eating. If you haven't ever eaten an antelope, they knew how to do it. They've been doing this for years. Wow, my gosh, that jerky was so good. And they used Tabasco when they was setting up in their brine that they used. They put Tabasco, and oh my gosh, some of that jerky it was delightful. Them boys knew everything. These were Montana boys. See, when you work in a remote location, the federal government requires that you hire a percentage of local people. Almost all the welders came out of Montana. All your pipe fitters came out of Montana. All your sheet metal workers, all those people, they all had to come out of Montana. Your inspectors and stuff like that, they all came out of a home office of Seattle, or out from the government Pentagon. I wish I could go back to those days. Them are some of the best days of my life. The the everyday excitement of living. Um, hopping in the basket that's suspended by a pettibone crane, and pull you up 50 feet above the silo to clear all your welding. You got all kinds of outriggers and stuff around the silo. So they have to get in the basket, and they take you up 50 feet in the air, swing you over the middle of the hole, and when they get you lined up, he's got everything marked in his pettibone where the dead center is and everything. We used to take the free fall, let him spool out let the basket spool out under its own weight, and that thing would get to the bottom 180 feet in a hurry. I mean, it was, once you got into the darkness of the silo, it was a little bit breathtaking. And then when he'd put the disc brakes on, slam the big brakes on there, you got two great big drums. It's got these like four four pads on each side, huge brakes. And it buckle your knees when you hit the bottom, and it was just fun. We had more fun when we knew we had somebody get in the basket would be scared. You could spot they was scared about getting in the basket. The basket weighed about 30. I think the basket weighed 3,500 pounds. And once you got all your equipment, I think we had a 7,500 pound maximum load that we could load onto the thing. And you take that 7,500 pounds and drop it, just let it freewheel off the spool. It can get up some pretty good speed. Once you got into darkness, you can't measure speed because everything's black going by you. But when you got within 25 or 30 feet of the bottom, the light glowing up from the bottom would reach that high up, and you could see the light change. And uh-oh, Somebody ringed in here. Somebody. It wasn't Angelique. Anyhow, I'm just rambling along here. I wish it was a two-way where you guys could ramble along with me, but because you guys are in the position of doing all that texting, just sit back and relax. Old Mac will do it all for you. All you got to do is just kind of kick back and get you a scotch or a glass of warm milk if you prefer. Turn the old fireplace up another notch, or maybe throw another log on the fire. Because Angelique said, I just got to go in and get a couple of things. Well, that means at least a minimum of 30 minutes. Now, if she said, I'm going to go in and do some serious shopping, we're looking at 45 to an hour and a half. She's not one for getting in a hurry. Once she gets over in the women's clothing, she'll start, I like this and I like it. And she's been buying all these summer clothes. She said, everybody knows the time to buy your summer clothes is in the winter. That's the lowest price. She has been buying, so almost every night she'll come in with a new halter top or a new something other that you'd wear in June and July and August, and she'll come in and she'll be sporting a new blouse, whatever. Of course, that gets all packed away now until summer, but she's on a buying spree of clothes and stuff right now for summer. She wears more of my clothes than she does her own. She like that old brown coat she likes to wear. That was a coat. It's fleece lined and it is nice and warm and everything. But she really likes that old jacket. She wears my old army jacket. She's just a good little human being. Yeah, I mean, everybody probably feels that the same way about their own folks, but some people are just outstanding. Well, it's really, really quiet here in the parking lot. Nothing going on. Now, if we was over at the Waffle House now, there'd be a fight going on about now. The Waffle House is a place you go get your breakfast and see a good fight. Our Waffle Houses down here are pretty exciting. They're always something going on, somebody getting thrown out the window. It's a southern thing. I am so sorry I cannot read the writing on the screen. See, I'm looking out in the sunshine there. I'm waving at you, but I know you can't see me because my hand is behind the camera. I don't have a little dog today. There's no little dog. Reason being is, we knew we was going to be at the dentist office there for an hour or two, and that little old dog, it was 17 degrees. No, what was it? I'm sorry, 27 degrees when we pulled into the dentist. And it was only 31 when we came out. That little fellow, he'd be suffering. He wanted to go, let me tell you. Yeah, I really enjoyed watching that thing about Lewistown, Harlowtown, all the little towns around where all the silos were. We put in a lot of missiles in that area. Then every out of 9 missiles, there's always one LCF, Launch Control Facility. And that's the ones you see people are buying to make a place to live, because it had full kitchen, it had full sleeping quarters, it's very spacious. You go down on the second level of an LCF, and it's pretty packed down there. You know, you got a bunch of people have to live there 24/7 when they're assigned to the silo. Almost all those now, all those have been replaced or refurbished into MX silos. The next missile up from the Minuteman III was the MX, and that's just one awesome machine. It's a lot bigger than the Minuteman, and it packs a monster punch. These MX are what they call country destroyers. You know, they're not intended to knock out a city. They're talking about to paralyze a country. 10 million of anything seems like a lot. That's a big number. 10 million tons of explosive power. That would be what they call the Big Bang, I guess. Thank God none of ours has ever went off. But you ought to sleep good at night knowing that nobody's going to literally try to attack us. Because if we turn them dogs of war loose, the world changes almost immediately. We're not talking about a 10-year plan of a change of a society. We're talking about instantly, within 20 minutes, the world would have changed so much in just that 20-minute period of time. It's something nightmares are made of. It's wonderful when you think about living in the greatest country in the world that has always been known for being generous, known for its kindness, it's known for its justice. You know, you do the crime, you're going to do the time. It used to be known for all those things, and to see the country change. We used to have what's called a moral value. In other words, a lot of morality was always forefront. You know, we could have these awesome weapons, but we had moral ground to stand on where we'd never use them in an offensive way. It would be always considered a deterrent, a defensive weapon. And now that we're in a sort of decline in the morality period of time and of our lives, you know, where people don't seem to care for people as much as they used to. That's across the board, you know. Respect has seemed to be going away pretty quick, you know. We was raised up, man, I tell you. We was always afraid of the law. You never wanted to ever be arrested by the law, because the whole community would absolutely applaud the law for taking you away, you know, for being a little heathen or something, acting crazy. But people don't have the same respect they had back in them days for the law, because you see so many things. Now you got people's got cameras everywhere. They record everything. And we ain't talking about ABC, CBS, Fox, or NBC, or any of them big networks. We're talking about just your average person with a phone in their hand. They cover everything. And they have all kinds of ways of posting it on Facebook and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. The law just can't seem to get away with things they used to when we was kids. Our little chief of police, I've told this story before, was his name was Mr. Tuggle, but he was known as Bad Eye Tuggle. And one time he was sitting out there watching the cars go by, and they put me up to go over and ask Mr. Tuggle how come he got the name Bad Eye. And I wasn't going to do it. But then when they put the double dog dare on me to go ask Mr. Tuggle how did he get the name Bad Eye. And he was sitting there, and the little old head was, he was in like a 1950s. Oh, hell, there's a call coming in. Let me see, who could it be? Could it be? Yeah, it'd be Angelique. Hang on. Okay, gotta go get her. See, that was her. Let me back this horse out here. Anyhow, I asked Mr. Tuggle, I said, "Sir, how did you get the name Bad Eye?" He leaned his head out the side of the car and spit a big old squirt of snuff right down at my feet. And he said, squinting down the barrel of a .38 pistol, looking at little fools like you. Old Mack done took off running. Old Mack done reached the limit of his courage. Just imagine that old man squinting down that gun barrel there at Old Mack. She said she was going to be down here, so I'm going over here. I'm hoping I can get over here. There she is. Look at there. She's right where she said she's going to be. She don't know, but I got to pull up here out of the crosswalk. All right, folks. That was my Bad Eye Tuggle story. I hope everybody has a good day. Enjoy life, man. Look at the little heifer.
Again? Really?
Yeah. Say something nice to the crew.
Rude.
Try to say something nice to them.
Hi. I'm not the heifer he claims me to be.
Oh. She's not your average everyday heifer. Love you guys. God bless you. Hey, stay frosty, my friends.